Dear learners, let's discuss the biography of Shah Walillah. Dear learners, Shah Walillah was born on the 21st day of the month of February in the year 1703. He was born at a very small village whose name was Phulat, and this village is situated at the Muzaffarnagar district of Uttar Pradesh. Dear learners, Shah Walillah was born in that period that hardly after 4 years after his birth, the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb has died. And it was a period of political turmoil because the successors of the Aurangzeb were almost incapable. So he was born in that period. Dear learners, he belonged to the prominent family that was known for their religious scholarship and leadership in the Islamic community or history. Dear learners, when he was born, the first name he was given was Waliullah. After a few days, and it was customary to have a naming ceremony that is called as Aqiqah. He was renamed as Qutbuddin Ahmad. There is narration that his father has saw a dream, and in that dream he has a vision of a great saint, Qutbuddin Bakhtiar Kaki. And he got inspired and he named his son as Qutbuddin Ahmad. So the real name of Shah Walillah was Qutbuddin Ahmad. And when we look into that, his patronymic name or his kunya was Abu Muhammad. Dear learners, the father of Shah Walillah was Sheikh Abdul Rahim or Shah Abdul Rahim, who was a very respected scholar of Delhi, who had established a very famous madrasa at Delhi known as Madrasa Rahimia. And this particular Madrasa Rahimia had played a significant role in the spread of Islamic education in the region. Many students from different parts of the continent used to come to gain education and knowledge from Madrasa Rahimia. Dear learners, Madrasa Rahimia has a special place in the city of Delhi because it has the support of the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. The Madrasa Rahimia was based on the Hanfi fiqh, and it got the patronage of the Mughal Emperor. So many nobles used to send their children to the Madrasa Rahimia so they can get a good Islamic teaching, a teaching full of values. Now, the environment of the Madrasa Rahimia was very good, excellent. The teachers, the scholars who were associated with Madrasa Rahimia were very supportive and learned one. They used to encourage the children the deep knowledge of the faith of Islam It was Shah Walillah who had observed right from his young age the environment of Madrasa Rahimiyya. So, from the very young age, he showed a keen interest in the religious studies. He had quickly mastered in the Quran and as well as in the various Islamic texts such as Hadith, Fiqh, Ilmul Kalam, and Falsafa. He has memorized the Holy Quran by heart. As the biographer of Shah Walillah Dehlvi maintains, initially he received his education at home, where he was taught the Quran, Hadith, and jurisprudence. And it was his family background that provided him a very strong foundation of Islamic studies or Islamic religious sciences from the young age. Dear learners, hardly he had attained the age of 15, completing major portion of his education at home. He then started gaining the formal studies or education under the guidance of many renowned scholars of Delhi. And as he used to visit to the schools of different important scholars, the way he had interacted with them, the way he had tried to understand, it had deepened his understanding of Islamic theology, philosophy, and mysticism also. Dear learners, in 1724, hardly he had attained the age of 21, he undertook a journey to the holy cities Mecca and Medina. There he had further acquired more knowledge. There he got enrolled under some important scholars of Mecca and Medina. And under the guidance of such scholars of Mecca and Medina, he gained insight into a broader Islamic world. It has enhanced his knowledge of different interpretation of Islam. When he went there, he met with the scholar, he found a very different method of the interpretation of Islam. And this has helped him greatly when he has also produced his own works. Dear learners, he was the brilliant scholar and he stayed at Mecca and Medina for nearly 14 months. Then he came there he came in contact with the leading teachers of Hijaz. And this contact with such teachers was very fruitful for him for his own development. One of his favorite teachers was Sheikh Abu Tahir bin Ibrahim, who belonged to the city of Medina. Shah Walillah, when he reached Medina, he joined the circle of Sheikh Abu Tahir bin Ibrahim. His teacher was astonished with the brilliance of Shah Walillah. And Shah Walillah gained his degree in Hadith from Sheikh Abu Tahir bin Ibrahim. Dear learners, the teacher of Shah Walillah, the Sheikh Abu Tahir bin Ibrahim, was very erudite scholar. He had encyclopedic memory. And this memory or sharpness of Sheikh Abu Tahir bin Ibrahim has benefited Shah Walillah. And he understood how to grasp the knowledge, how to understand that thing. In his writing, Shah Walillah has accredited the contribution of his teacher, Sheikh Abu Tahir. And many times he speaks about his pity, his independent judgment, and his talent. Dear learners, during his stay at Makkah, as he himself has maintained, he saw a dream, or he had a dream that he has met with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he has seen the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has commanded him to work. Prophet Muhammad had instructed him in his dream that he should work for the organization and emancipation of Muslim community in the subcontinent. That the Muslim community is gradually fading just because of their lack in the religious knowledge and education. So he saw Prophet Muhammad in the dream when he was at Makkah, and from then he has made a firm decision that he has to work for the welfare of the Muslim community of his region. In 1732, he returned back to his native place, Delhi. And from this period, he started to work with a zeal, with a spirit. He was, and dear learners, this was his uphill task in a period when Muslims of India were passing through the most critical phase of its history, and its entire social, political, economic, and social, spiritual fabric were torn into pieces. The downfall of the Mughals, the excessive indulgence of the Britishers has made this phase as a very critical one. So Muslims were constantly in trouble at that time, at every aspect. Dear learners, as we have mentioned, he reached Delhi. He started training his students that they should engage themselves in learning different branches of Islamic education, and had also entrusted them with the missionary work, that what they learn they should reach to the people and they should enlighten these people with the true nature or true teaching of Islam. Dear learners, hardly he attained the age of 60. He died in his native city of Delhi in 1762 AD. My dear learners, it is important here to understand that Shah Wali Delhi has done numerous works because he was the foundation pillar of the modern reform movement in India. So his work are to be categorized. Just categorizing his work, we found that his work can be categorized in 6 categories. We can make 6 categories of his work. Dear learner, the first deal with the Holy Quran. It includes his translation of the Holy Book, the Holy Quran, into the Persian language. What he has done, he has translated the Holy Quran into the Persian language, because at that time the Persian was the lingua franca of the Indian Muslims. That's why he has translated it into the Persian, that the common man can understand the message of the Quran easily. The literary language, as I have said, was the Persian at that time. According to Shah Waliullah, the object of studying the Holy Quran is to reform human nature and to correct the wrong beliefs that are very much injurious for our actions. The second category deals with hadith, in which he has left behind several works, including Arabic and Persian commentaries on Muwatta, the Muwatta of Imam Malik bin Anas. The third category of his work deals with fiqh, the jurisprudence, which include Insaf be Bayane Sababil Ikhtilaf, which is in very brief, very short, but a very interesting and informative history of the Islamic jurisprudence for at least the 5 centuries. He deals with the aspect of how the fiqh has developed and what are the parameters of the fiqh. Dear learners, the fourth category deals with his works based on mysticism. He also had written about the mystical notion and ideas in the Holy Quran. Because at that time, we found that there were many Sufi orders which were having the mystical teachings. And as I have just maintained in the lecture, that he was named after the great Chishti saint Qutbuddin Bakhtiar Kaki. So, the mysticism, the aspect of mysticism was very much prevailing in his teachings. His father was also a great mystic, despite being a great scholar of Quran, Hadith, and Fiqh. He was also a mystic. So he had a very in-depth knowledge of mysticism. So that's why he has worked on the various aspects of mysticism in his work. So this one can be categorized in the fourth place. The fifth category, as we are categorizing his work, is related to the Muslim philosophy and as well as Ilmul Kalam. He has wrote pamphlet on the principle of ijtihad, the independent interpretation, and as well as the taqleed, the conformity. Dear learners, in his one of this pamphlet, in which he has written about the principles of ijtihad, he has clarified whether it is obligatory for the Muslim to adhere to one of the 4 recognized schools of Islamic jurisprudence or whether he can exercise his own judgment. So, in this category, he had talked about what are the norms of the ijtihad, that we should only follow or we should only perform taqleed or we should perform ijtihad. What we find through his work, he had insisted that ijtihad has to be conducted because ijtihad is the need of the time or as per the time it will be used. Dear learners, the sixth category deals with his work on Shia Sunni problems. Because at that time, it has become a very acute problem. He has wrote on this subject and had tried to simplify the problem of the Shia-Sunni dispute. Dear learners, his work is categorized by knowledge, insight, moderation, and tolerance. But the quality on which he laid the greatest emphasis in theory and practice was adl, the justice and the fairness. Adl or Adalat. Dear learners, his work and views bear ample testimony to the ways he observed this principle in practice, and he lost few opportunities of emphasizing in theory its role in maintaining the social fabric. Dear learners, let's have a view of Shah Waliullah regarding the socio-political reform. Dear learners, Shah Waliullah lived during the period of political instability, as already we have stated, the period of decline of the Mughal Empire. He has made a very critical analysis of the socio-political condition of his time and has attributed the decline to the moral and spiritual decay among the Muslims. Dear learners, one of the key contributions was his call for unity among Muslims. He identified sectarianism as a major cause of weaknesses, and he has also advocated for bridging the gap between different Islamic sects, especially Sunni and Shia community. Dear learners, Shah Waliullah has also addressed through his work the economic issues. He has criticized the oppressive tax system that was imposed by the Britishers because the Mughals had become the puppet in the hand of the Britisher. So the excessive taxes were imposed on the subject. So through his pamphlets, through his writing, he has addressed this issue. He criticized the oppressive tax and the concentration of wealth among the elite. He has also emphasized that the elite, the Muslim elite, should follow the Islamic principle that they should pay zakat, they should indulge themselves in the alms giving. So, overall, we can say that he proposed a fairer distribution, or he was of the view for the fairer distribution of wealth in accordance with the principles of Islam. My dear learners, Shah Waliullah Dehlvi's view was very objective. And just because of that one, he had very keenly understood the issues and the problems of the people. So, when he returned back from Makkah after performing the Hajj, his main purpose was to think about the welfare of the community, welfare of the people. And it was he who started a program that the religious education should be infused among the people. And all the later reform movements that has come or that was established or that were founded had somehow were inspired by the views and the thoughts of Shah Waliullah. For example, the Faraizi movement, the Mujahideen movement, the Deobandi movement. These all were somehow inspired by the views and thought of the Shah Waliullah Dehlvi. And they had tried to infuse the teachings of Shah Waliullah Dehlvi in their reform movements. Dear learners, let's have a glance over some important or key works of Shah Waliullah. The first one is Hujjatullah al-Balagha, that is the profound evidence of Allah. It means the profound evidence of Allah. This is the monumental work, the magnum opus work, the masterpiece work of Shah Waliullah Dehlvi. It addresses the metaphysical issues, theological doctrines, and practical aspect of Islamic law and ethics. Dear learners, Hujjatullah al-Balagha demonstrates Shah Waliullah's systematic approach to integrate Islamic teaching with rational inquiry. Another work is Fathur Rahman, the translation of the Quran. It is the Persian translation of the Quran by Shah Waliullah Dehlvi. It was the groundbreaking effort to make the Quran accessible to the non-Arabic speaking Muslims in the Indian subcontinent. All Muslims were not able to speak the Arabic, neither they can read or understand that. Only they can read the Holy Quran. But simply reading the Holy Quran was not the issue. We should read the Holy Quran and understand. So that's why Shah Waliullah Dehlvi has translated the Holy Quran into the Persian language. This was the first of the earliest translation of the Holy Quran into a non-Arabic language.